get some shots on behind the net, trying one more time for the same thing, and it counts! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Jordan McIntosh with 3 goals and 5th of the night. 3 goals.
Hey, what's up everyone? Happy Monday evening. We're going to recap this past weekend in the NLL. On Friday, the Minnesota Swarm played the Toronto Rock. Even though the Swarm have been extremely inconsistent this season, I felt this would be a good game for them to get a W and turn their season around. Unfortunately, the Toronto Rock prevented that from happening. They won the game 14-12. On the Swarm side, their defense slacked a little bit against the Rock, but their offense really stepped up to the plate, and both teams brought the pressure on the goalies all evening long. The next game on the list, Rochester Knighthawks, Calgary Roughnecks. I knew this would be a close game. Both teams have been fairly consistent this season. The Calgary Roughnecks ended up winning 11-10. The Roughnecks, I feel this season, are really proving something in the NLL. They've always been a good team, but they've never really been recognized for their efforts. This season, they're really putting on a performance and beating key teams, such as the Knighthawks, to make statements throughout their season. I have high expectations for the Roughnecks. I didn't expect them to go far back in December when I first made my season predictions. But as always, I love an underdog, I love an upset, and now I think they could go deep into the postseason. Finally on the list, Minnesota Swarm at the Philadelphia Wings. Now, just as the Swarm played Toronto on Friday, and I felt that they would have a good season turnaround game, I thought this would be that game for the Wings. And I really felt that on their home turf, in front of a crowd that supports them, their offense would really step up. Their offense has been fairly inconsistent. Their defense has been solid. I'll leave it at solid. And the Swarm, as inconsistent as they had been leading up to this weekend, would have been a good game for that. The Swarm ended up winning 15-14. And just like against the Toronto Rock, their offense stepped up and the Wings' defense was solid. Their offense wasn't really too spectacular, but neither was the Swarm's defense, so it kind of made up for one another. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick 3-minute NLL recap. My name is Ian Neadle. Follow me on Twitter, Ian Neadle. I'm also on Facebook. Have a good week.
Well, disappointing game in our perspective. We think that it was a game that we should have won. We didn't. Tailwood Tape was really special teams. They were 5-on-5 in their power play. We were 2 for 7, and there's a difference.
Some of the reasons you think you guys cooled off, you had the 7 goals in the first, and then you only had 7 the rest of the game. What were some of the reasons you think led to that?
Well, I think it's what's sort of plagued us all year. We've had some early success, and we get a little complacent. They made a good goalie change, and he started to play well. That play well for him. So that can change momentum in a key situation. I thought they did a nice job with that.
Any other questions here for Coach Harrison?
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
On Sunday afternoon, the Philadelphia Wings fell to the Minnesota Swarm by a count of 15-14. The Philadelphia Wings started out strong in this game by scoring 7 goals in the first quarter to take an early 7-3 lead. But in the second and third quarters, the Minnesota Swarm came back by just outscoring the Wings by 1 goal in each of those quarters to reduce the lead to 2 goals at 12-10. As we started the fourth quarter, the Minnesota Swarm came out on an attack, scoring 4 straight goals to turn a 12-10 deficit into a 14-12 lead. On those 4 goals, 3 of those goals were scored by rookie Logan Shush with a natural hat trick on a row. Logan ended up with 5 goals and 2 assists on the afternoon for the Minnesota Swarm. On the wing side of the ball, Kevin Crowley somewhat came back to his old self by getting 2 goals and 8 assists on Sunday afternoon, while Kyle Buchanan had 6 assists in the game, and Pat Saunders registered 4 goals along with Garrett Foles 2 goals. Brandon Miller got his first start of the year for the Philadelphia Wings, turning away 42 of 57 shots faced. The Minnesota Swarm were a perfect 5 for 5 on their man advantage, while the Wings were a putrid 2 for 7 on their man advantage. And to me, that's where the game was lost right there. When you let a team go 5 for 5 on a power play and you could only go 2 for 7, you're going to end up on the losing side of things. Next up for the Philadelphia Wings will be the 2-time defending champion Rochester Nighthawks. They will face them on March 8th up in Rochester, New York at the Blue Cross Arena. As of right now, the Philadelphia Wings are 3-7. They are sitting 2 games behind the Toronto Rock for the final playoff spot in the NLL Eastern Division. And the Toronto Rock also have a full 2 games in hand on the Philadelphia Wings. So this past weekend, this game was very vital to the Wings, because now the Toronto Rock can move this lead up to 3 full games with their 2 games in hand that they're going to be playing this coming weekend. The Minnesota Swarm, on the other hand, are now 2-6. Both those wins against the Philadelphia Wings. They also hold the tiebreaker over the Philadelphia Wings, as well as the Buffalo Bandits have the tiebreaker. So right now, it's basically a do-or-die situation for the Wings, as they're sitting at 3-7 with only 8 games remaining in the season, and as I said, sitting a full 2 games behind the Toronto Rock for that final playoff spot in the NLL East. I don't know what they're going to have to do. They need to turn this around very quickly, and facing a tough Rochester team with players of the nature of Cody Jameson, Dan Dawson, Johnny Pallas, Corey Vitarelli, Joe Walters, and of course, goaltender of the year, Matt Vince. It's going to be a very tough task to win, especially up in Rochester, New York at the Blue Cross Arena. So for now, the Wings have a bye week coming up. Rochester will be in action this weekend. The Wings will face, as I said, Rochester on March 8th, then turn around and Rochester comes back here for St. Patty's Day weekend for another Sunday afternoon game at 4 p.m. So until next week, this is Rocco Granato reporting for InLacrosseWeTrust.com.
Any questions here for Kevin?
How frustrating it is for them to almost shut you down in that last couple periods.
It's tough, Just what comes to mind is it's not good enough. From a team perspective, and obviously on an individual level, it's not where I want to be. We try to outwork teams, and I think those lapses were what killed us tonight.
Could you talk about wearing the Flyers Phantom jersey today?
I'll be honest, it was pretty cool. Wish we had done something with the shorts, maybe a black or something, but that's awesome, and we were pretty fired up to wear them. I think it's, a unique time, and obviously having Drew in the crowd supporting us was great.
Talk about picking up 10 points today.
I had no idea I had 10 points. All that's in my mind is all the pipes that we hit, and myself personally, and, the last shot there, and again, assists are huge for, it's a testament to how the other guys around you are playing too, so I got to deliver on the goal scoring end.
You guys came out with 7 goals. I mean, how important is that to repeat that next game?
It's huge, early starts are huge in this game, but they're never safe, and you saw that tonight. They're a hungry team, and we couldn't keep it up for 4 quarters, and that cost us. Good.